A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a striking interview published on Friday, U.S. President Donald Trump stated unequivocally that Crimea will stay with Russia, marking a significant moment in the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia. This assertion comes as Trump exerts pressure on Ukraine to make concessions in order to facilitate an end to the war, which continues to devastate the nation. Referring to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Trump emphasized, "Zelensky understands that, and everybody understands that it's been with him for a long time." These comments were made during an interview with Time magazine, conducted earlier this week. Trump's remarks have reignited discussions surrounding the status of Crimea, a strategically important peninsula located along the Black Sea, which was annexed by Russia in 2014 during President Barack Obama's administration, years before the full-scale invasion that began in 2022. Trump stated, "They've had their submarines there for long before any period that we're talking about, for many years. The people speak largely Russian in Crimea. But this was given by Obama. This wasn't given by Trump." As the conflict escalates, Russia has intensified its bombardment of Ukraine. A recent drone strike on an apartment building in Pavlograd resulted in the deaths of 3 individuals, including a child and a 76-year-old woman, while injuring 10 others. This attack occurred just one day after Trump publicly rebuked Russian President Vladimir Putin for a deadly missile and drone assault on Kiev. Reports indicate that Russian forces launched a barrage of 103 Shahid and decoy drones targeting 5 Ukrainian regions overnight, with damage reported in the northeastern Sumy and Kharkiv areas. The ongoing war appears to be reaching a critical juncture as the Trump administration deliberates its next steps. Senior U.S. officials have cautioned that the administration may soon abandon efforts to mediate the conflict if both sides fail to reach an agreement, which could jeopardize vital U.S. military aid to Ukraine. Amidst these peace negotiations, Russia's attack on Kiev on Thursday resulted in at least 12 fatalities and injured 87, marking the deadliest assault on the Ukrainian capital since July. Trump's response was notably critical, as he expressed his discontent over the Russian strikes, stating, "I am not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary, and very bad timing. Vladimir, stop. 5,000 soldiers a week are dying." He further urged, "Let's get the peace deal done." Trump's frustrations have mounted as his efforts to broker a deal between Ukraine and Russia have yet to yield significant progress. Recently, Trump envoy Steve Witkoff met with Putin in Moscow, marking their second meeting this month and the 4th since February. In a brief video released by the Kremlin, Witkoff could be heard greeting Putin in English, to which Putin responded, "Fine, just fine. Thank you." Trump has accused Zelensky of prolonging the conflict, suggesting that his refusal to concede the Russia-occupied Crimea Peninsula is contributing to the ongoing violence. Zelensky has consistently maintained that recognizing occupied territory as Russian is a non-negotiable stance for Ukraine. As both leaders prepare to arrive in Rome for the funeral of Pope Francis, it remains uncertain whether they will hold separate discussions. In a separate development, a senior Russian military officer was killed by a car bomb near Moscow, with Russian authorities attributing the attack to Ukraine. This incident follows the assassination of Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov, who was killed by a bomb hidden on an electric scooter. Since the onset of the conflict, several high-profile figures have been targeted in attacks believed to be orchestrated by Ukraine. Amid these events, Zelensky reported that Russian forces exploited the chaos of the recent attacks on Kiev to intensify ground assaults along the extensive 1,000 kilometers front line. He stated, "When the maximum of our forces was focused on defense against missiles and drones, the Russians went on to significantly intensify their ground attacks." Western European leaders have accused Putin of stalling negotiations while seeking to expand Russian territory, taking advantage of the current battlefield momentum. Zelensky highlighted that Ukraine had agreed to a U.S. ceasefire proposal 44 days ago, intended as a preliminary step toward negotiated peace, yet Russian assaults have persisted unabated. As the situation unfolds, the international community watches closely, hoping for a resolution to a conflict that has claimed countless lives and displaced millions. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.